The morning sky turned strange above Dr. Han Ji-woo's research building. 3 huge ships appeared, shining like ice in the early sun. Dr. Han looked up from her coffee, her mouth open in shock. In 15 years of working with animals from other planets, she had never seen anything like this. "Dr. Han, come quick!" Her assistant, Kim Do-hyun, rushed into the room. His face was pale. "The radio is going crazy. Those ships want to land here. They asked for you by name." Dr. Han put down her cup with shaking hands. The research center in the snowy Yukon was far from any city. Most people didn't even know it was here. How did these visitors know her name? "What do they want?" she asked, grabbing her white coat. "They say they need a doctor. A doctor for animals." Kim swallowed hard. "They say their babies are dying." The world's leaders were arguing about what to do with the strange ships. But when Dr. Han heard that sick young ones were on board, she made her own choice. She called the military base nearby. "This is Dr. Han Ji-woo. Let them land in our big hangar. I take full responsibility." The general on the phone started to argue, but Dr. Han cut him off. "They came for help. I'm a doctor. I help those who need it." An hour later, Dr. Han and her small team stood in the hangar. The room was big enough to fit large planes, but it felt small when the first of the ice-like ships hovered down through the open roof. Cold air poured from it, turning their breath to white clouds. A door opened in the side of the ship. Dr. Han stepped forward while her team hung back. The being that came out was massive. It looked like the dragons from old Earth stories, but its scales were see-through like crystal. They changed colors from deep blue to soft purple as it moved. The creature was as big as a bus, with wings folded against its sides. Its eyes were pools of silver light. Behind this dragon came 2 others carrying something between them. Dr. Han's doctor eyes saw right away that they were carrying babies, 6 small dragons on a bed of what looked like glowing blue moss. The little ones barely moved. Their scales were dull and actual ice formed around their bodies. The first dragon bowed its great head to Dr. Han. A small device on its neck lit up, and a voice came from it. "I am Tae, leader of this search group. We have traveled very far to find you, Dr. Han Ji-woo of Earth." Dr. Han tried to look calm, though her heart was racing. "How do you know my name?" "Your work healing the Archean star whales reached far worlds. You are known as one who helps all living things, not just humans." The dragon's voice from the translator sounded tired. "We are the Jinn. Our hatchlings are dying from a freezing sickness that our healers cannot stop." Dr. Han moved closer to look at the baby dragons. They were each about the size of a big dog. One small one opened its eyes weakly. They were silver like the adults, but cloudy with sickness. "Why come to Earth? Surely there are more advanced worlds with better doctors?" Dr. Han asked. The second dragon stepped forward. "I am Sue, chief scientist. We have been to 12 worlds with better technology. None would help us. Some feared the sickness would spread to their kind. Others had no interest in saving a species not their own." Sue bowed her head. "Humans are known in old records as the only beings who made medicine for other animals before they even reached the stars." Dr. Kim had moved beside Dr. Han now. He was scanning the baby dragons with a medical device. "Dr. Han, their body temperature is -15 degrees Celsius. That's impossible for a living thing." "We live with ice in our bodies," Tae explained, "but the hatchlings should be warmer, at least 0 degrees. The freezing plague is turning their hearts to true ice." Dr. Han knelt beside the sickest hatchling. Its breathing was so slow she could barely see its chest move. Around its heart, the scales had turned completely clear, showing ice forming inside its body. "Can you save them?" Sue asked, her voice breaking even through the translator. Dr. Han took a deep breath. She had no idea if she could help these alien beings. Their biology was completely unknown to her. It might take months to understand, and these babies looked like they had days, maybe only hours. But when she looked at the tiny dragon's face, she saw what she always saw in her patients, a living being in pain. It didn't matter if it had scales, instead of skin, or ice instead of warm blood. It needed help. "I will try," Dr. Han said firmly. "Kim, call the whole team in. Tell them to bring all our equipment. and get the portable warming units from storage. The big dragon named Tay lowered his head until his huge eye was level with Dr. Han's face. Our kind has never asked another species for help. Pride has been our weakness. If you save our young ones, the Jinn will forever be in debt to humans. Dr. Han shook her head. I don't want debt. I just want to help. Now I need to know everything about your normal body functions. Over the next few hours, as military planes flew overhead watching the alien ships, Dr. Han and her team set up a treatment area. The adult dragons explained their biology, how they evolved on a world with temperatures that would freeze human blood solid, how their bodies used special proteins instead of water, proteins that could move and function in deep cold. The freezing plague was new to them. It had appeared suddenly on their homeworld, targeting only the young. Nearly half of all Jinn hatchlings had already died. Dr. Han took samples from the sick babies while her team analyzed them. The sickest hatchling, who the dragons called Min, was fading quickly. The ice is growing around his heart, Dr. Han said, looking at the scan results. We need to try something now or we'll lose him. Without fully understanding the Jinn biology, Dr. Han had to trust her doctor instincts. She prepared a mixture of earth medicines that might slow ice formation, then added warming compounds that worked on many different species. This might not work, she warned Sue, who hadn't left Min's side. It could even make things worse. Sue looked at her dying child. If you do nothing, he will die for certain. We must try. Dr. Han injected the medicine directly toward Min's icy heart. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then Min's whole body shuddered. His dull scales flickered with a faint blue light. Dr. Han checked her scanner. The ice has stopped growing, she said, hardly believing the reading. It's not getting better yet, but it's not getting worse. Outside the hangar, more military vehicles arrived. Government officials in dark suits entered, demanding to speak with whoever was in charge. The other adult dragons formed a protective circle around their ships, nervous about the growing human presence. But inside the treatment area, Dr. Han saw only her patient. Min's eyes opened slightly, clearer than before. He made a soft chirping sound. He's thanking you. Sue translated, her voice full of emotion. No hatchling has improved at all since the plague began. Dr. Han smiled at the baby dragon. We've only bought some time. I need to understand what's really causing this. The medicine I gave him won't last long. As if to confirm her words, alarms began to sound on her medical equipment. Min's body temperature was dropping again, faster than before. What's happening? Sue cried, as ice crystals began to form once more around her child's heart. Dr. Han rushed to prepare another dose of medicine, her mind racing. The first treatment had worked briefly, then failed. Why? What was she missing? As she worked, Kim called her over to his microscope. Dr. Han, you need to see this. The samples from Min's blood, they're changing. The ice crystals aren't just forming, they're growing, like they're alive. Dr. Han looked into the microscope and felt a chill that had nothing to do with the cold air. The ice wasn't just ice. It was moving, growing, adapting. This isn't a disease, she whispered. It's a parasite, and it's learning to fight our medicine. Outside, human soldiers and alien dragons faced each other with growing tension. Inside, Dr. Han realized she wasn't just fighting to save a few baby dragons. She was facing a new kind of enemy, one that could threaten all living things if it spread beyond the Jinn, and she was the only doctor who had ever seen it. Dr. Han worked without rest for 2 days. The freezing plague was unlike anything she had seen before. It wasn't just killing the baby dragons, it was using their own bodies to grow. We need to move the sickest hatchlings into the Jinn ship, she told Kim. Our building is too warm for them. The adults say the cold of their ship might slow the ice growth. Kim looked worried. The government people won't like that. They want all the aliens to stay where they can see them. Dr. Han's face grew hard. I don't care what they like, I care about saving lives. Inside the alien ship, Dr. Han and 2 team members set up their lab. The air was so cold that they had to wear special suits. The walls of the ship looked like ice but felt like metal. Sue showed Dr. Han where to put her equipment. This room is for our young ones, she explained. The temperature here can change. The rest of the ship must stay very cold for the adults. Dr. Han nodded, her breath making clouds inside her helmet. Perfect. We'll start with Min. He's still the sickest. Min lay on a bed of the glowing blue moss. The ice around his heart had grown again after the first medicine stopped working. His small body barely moved. Dr. Han took new samples from Min and put them under her microscope. She gasped at what she saw. The ice crystals have changed, she told Sue. They're not the same as 2 days ago. They've evolved. Sue leaned closer to see. How is that possible? I think this isn't a normal disease, Dr. Han said slowly. The way it changes to fight our medicine, the way it grows. I think someone made this plague. Sue's large body went very still. You believe this was done on purpose to hurt our kind? Dr. Han didn't want to say it, but the evidence was clear. This ice behaves like it was programmed. Natural diseases don't adapt this fast. That night, while working on new medicine ideas, Dr. Han asked Tay about enemies of the Jinn. The big dragon was quiet for a long time. There is one race, he finally said. The Moro. They live on hot worlds and have hated the cold living races for many star cycles. But to make a disease that targets only our young ones, that would be an act of great evil. Evil or not, I need to understand how it works to fight it, Dr. Han said. Can you tell me more about your people's history with the Moro? As Tai told stories of old fights between the two races, Dr. Han took notes. The Moro had tried many times to take over Jinn planets but never succeeded. The Jinn were stronger in direct battle. A plague that killed their children would be a way to defeat them without fighting. In the morning, Dr. Han tried a new approach. If the ice parasites were made to grow in cold, what would happen if they got warm, but not warm enough to hurt the baby dragons? She set up a small area in the ship where the temperature was just above freezing. Cold for humans, but warm for the Jinn. She moved Min there, watching closely to make sure the heat didn't hurt him. The ice is changing, Kim said after an hour, looking at his scanner. It's growing more slowly. Dr. Han checked Min's body. His breathing is a little better too. I think we're on the right track. Over the next day, they moved all 6 hatchlings to the warmer room. The babies seemed more comfortable, but the ice didn't stop completely. It just slowed down. We need to kill the ice, not just slow it, Dr. Han said, frustrated. I need to find something that targets only the parasite and leaves the dragon cells alone. That's when Sue showed her something important, a special liquid that Jinn adults made in their bodies. Our blood has this protective part, Sue explained. It keeps ice from forming inside us where it shouldn't. The hatchlings' bodies don't make enough yet. That's why they got sick first. Dr. Han took samples of the liquid and studied it. This could be the key. If we can give the babies more of this protective substance, maybe their bodies can fight the ice themselves. But there was a problem. The adult dragons couldn't make enough of the special liquid for all the sick babies. And Dr. Han couldn't copy it with her earth medicine. Wait, she said, thinking hard. What if we use human blood? Our bodies make antifreeze proteins too. Not as strong as yours, but similar. Kim looked shocked. Human blood in alien babies? Is that safe? Dr. Han shook her head. Not whole blood, but maybe just the helpful proteins, changed a little to work in their bodies. She took blood from herself and her team members. Working carefully, she separated the parts that might help fight ice. Then she changed them in her lab to be more like the Jinn proteins. This is our best chance, she told Sue, holding up a small tube of clear liquid. I've never mixed human and alien biology like this before, but I think it might work. Sue looked at Min, who was getting weaker again even, in the warmer room. We trust you, Dr. Han. Do what you must. Dr. Han gave Min a small amount of the new medicine. Then everyone waited. For 1 hour, nothing changed. Dr. Han began to lose hope. Then Min's dull scales suddenly flashed with bright blue light. His small body shook. What's happening? Sue cried in fear. Dr. Han checked her scanner. The ice, it's breaking up. His body is fighting back. Min's eyes opened wider than they had since arriving on Earth. He made a chirping sound that needed no translation. It was clearly a sound of relief. By the next morning, the ice around Min's heart was almost gone. His scales glowed with healthy blue light. He even ate a small meal of the glowing moss. "It's working," Dr. Han said, smiling with tired eyes. "Let's treat the others now." Over the next 3 days, all 6 baby dragons improved. The ice melted from their bodies and they began to move and eat normally. The adult Jinn were overjoyed, but as Dr. Han studied the blood samples from the recovering hatchlings, she found something strange. The baby's blood was changing. It now had something new in it, a mix of Jinn and human proteins that was stronger than either one alone. "Kim, look at this," she said, pointing to her screen. "The human parts of the medicine aren't going away. They're becoming part of the baby's blood forever." Kim studied the screen. "Is that bad?" "I don't think so. It seems to be making them stronger." Dr. Han rubbed her tired eyes. "But I wonder what else might change in them because of this." She didn't have long to wonder. That evening, Min did something no Jinn had ever done before. While playing with the other hatchlings, he sneezed, and a small puff of flame came out of his mouth. The adult Jinn were shocked. Their kind had never breathed fire, despite looking like the dragons of Earth stories. "How is this possible?" Tay asked, watching Min sneeze small flames again. Dr. Han had a theory. Human DNA has a history that goes back to a hot Earth. Even though we don't breathe fire, the building blocks for heat resistance are in us. I think the medicine woke up something new in Min. As the other hatchlings began showing the same ability, Dr. Han realized something important. The human medicine hadn't just saved the baby dragons, it had changed them forever. But while the Jinn were celebrating the recovery of their young ones, Dr. Han made a worrying discovery. Looking at the latest blood samples, she saw that the ice parasites weren't completely gone. They were hiding, changing, waiting, and worst of all, some of them had bits of human proteins mixed in now too. "We haven't beaten this thing," she told Kim quietly, away from the happy Jinn. "We've just driven it back, and now it's learning from us too." Outside the ship, more government officials arrived. They had heard about the recovery of the baby dragons, and they had many questions about the new human Jinn medicine. Dr. Han knew she should feel happy about saving the hatchlings. But as she watched Min playfully breathing small flames, she couldn't shake the feeling that the real battle was just beginning. Something was coming. Something worse than ice. 1 week after the baby dragon started getting better, Dr. Han was working late in the lab on the Jinn ship. She looked at blood samples from Min under her strongest microscope. "This can't be right," she said to herself. She checked the sample again, but the result was the same. The freezing plague was changing faster than before. Dr. Han called Kim, who was sleeping in the small room they had set up on the ship. "Kim, I need you to look at this right away." When Kim arrived, his hair messy from sleep, Dr. Han showed him the microscope. "Look at how the ice parasites are moving now. They're not just adapting to the Jinn biology anymore. They're taking parts of it." Kim rubbed his eyes and looked. His face went pale. "It's like they're stealing the dragon's DNA." "Exactly. And look at this one." Dr. Han pointed to a different sample. "This has human proteins in it now. The parasites are learning from both species." They worked through the night, checking all the recovered hatchlings. The baby dragons seemed healthy. They played, ate, and breathed small flames. But inside them, the ice parasites were still there, hiding and changing. In the morning, Dr. Han called a meeting with Tay and Sue. "I have bad news," she told them. "The freezing plague isn't gone. It's hiding in the hatchlings' bodies, getting stronger." Sue moved closer to Min, who was playing with the other babies. "But they seem so well now." "Their bodies are fighting it off for now," Dr. Han explained. "The human proteins we added are helping, but the plague is learning. It's becoming something new and more dangerous." Tay's silver eyes narrowed. "You believe it will come back?" Dr. Han nodded slowly. Yes, and worse, I think it might be able to jump to other species now, including humans. This wasn't just an attack on the jinn. It's a weapon that could spread across many worlds. The room went quiet. Even the playing hatchlings seemed to sense the tension, stopping their games to look at the adults. We must warn our home world, Tay said finally, and all the worlds where we stopped on our journey here. Yes, Dr. Han agreed. But first we need to find a real cure, not just a temporary fix. I need to understand who made this plague and why. The answer might help us find a weakness in it. Dr. Han asked to speak with Earth's leaders. The next day, she met with military generals, scientists, and government officials in a big meeting room at the research center. Kim came with her, carrying all their research data. The freezing plague is not just the jinn's problem anymore, Dr. Han told the serious faces around the table. It's evolving to potentially attack any living thing, including humans. A general, with gray hair, frowned. Are you saying these dragons brought a deadly disease to Earth? That sounds like an attack to me. Dr. Han shook her head firmly. No. The jinn are victims, not attackers. They came here for help, and I believe whoever created this plague is the true threat, to all of us. She showed them pictures of the parasites, explaining how they were designed to adapt and change. This is not natural. Someone with advanced knowledge of biology created this weapon. We think it might be a species called the Moro, who have fought with the jinn before. An older scientist spoke up. How do we know the jinn aren't lying? Maybe they created this themselves and it got out of control. Just then, Sue entered the room, making several officials jump in surprise. The dragon moved carefully in the space that was too small for her. We would never harm our own children, Sue said, her translator making her voice sound sad. The jinn value life above all things. That is why we came to Earth, to the species known for helping others. Dr. Han put a hand on Sue's crystal scales. I've worked with the jinn for days now. I've seen inside their ships and studied their biology. There's no sign they created this plague, but there is evidence it was made to target them specifically. After hours of talking, Earth's leaders agreed. To help, they would send scientists to work with Dr. Han and warn other human colonies about the possible danger. Back in the lab, Dr. Han had an idea. If the parasites were taking DNA from both jinn and humans, maybe that was a weakness they could use. Plague is greedy, she told Kim. It takes whatever genetic material it finds useful. What if we give it something that looks useful but is actually harmful to it? They worked on a new medicine, a special protein that would look like good food to the parasite but would actually poison it. The protein had parts from both human and jinn blood, designed to attract the parasite. It's like a trap, Kim said, looking at the blue liquid they had made. The parasite will eat this, thinking it's getting stronger, but instead it will die. They tested the new medicine on small samples of the parasite in the lab. It worked. The ice crystals dissolved completely when they absorbed the fake protein. But when they tried to give the medicine to Min, something unexpected happened. The small dragon's body rejected it completely. He coughed and shook after just one drop. His body is protecting the parasite now, Dr. Han realized with shock. They've become too connected. If we kill the parasite, we might hurt Min too. Sue was very upset by this news. Are you saying the plague has become part of our children? Han didn't want to believe it, but the evidence was clear. The parasites have shared too much DNA with the hatchlings now. They're not separate anymore. That night, while everyone was sleeping, Min woke up feeling strange. His small body felt both hot and cold at the same time. He wandered away from the other sleeping hatchlings, confused by the new feelings. When he breathed, bigger flames came out than before, and when he touched a metal table, ice formed under his claws. Min was scared. He called out for Sue. Dr. Han heard the cry and ran to find Min. When she saw him, she stopped in surprise. The baby dragon's scales were changing color, flashing between fiery red and icy blue. Get Sue and Tay, she told Kim, who had followed her. Something's happening to Min. When the adult jinn arrived, they were shocked by what they saw. Min's body was changing before their eyes. His wings had grown larger and his tail now had crystal spikes. The parasite isn't just living inside him. Dr. Han said quietly. It's changing him. And I think the human proteins we added are speeding up the change. Sue moved closer to her child. Is he in danger? Min looked up at his mother, his silver eyes now streaked with gold. I feel strange, he said in perfect English, not using a translator. Everyone in the room froze. The Jinn had never spoken human languages before. How can he speak English? Kim asked, his voice shaking. Dr. Han had a theory, but it was almost too strange to believe. The human proteins, the parasite, the Jinn DNA, they're all mixing together. Min isn't just getting over the sickness. He's becoming something new. Over the next day, all 6 hatchlings began to change like Min. They grew bigger, their scales changed colors, and they all started speaking English. They could still make ice with their touch, but now they could also control their fire breath. Earth's leaders were alarmed by these changes. Some wanted to lock up the Jinn for study. Others wanted to send them away from Earth. Everyone was afraid of what was happening. Dr. Han fought to protect her patients. The hatchlings aren't dangerous, she insisted. They're just different now. This could even be a good thing. They might have new abilities that could help us fight the plague if it spreads. But late that night, as Dr. Han was checking Min's blood again, she found something that made her heart race with fear. The parasite wasn't just changing the baby dragons. It was sending tiny pieces of itself out of their bodies, like seeds looking for new hosts. It's ready to spread, she whispered to herself. And we're not ready to stop it. At that moment, the research center's alarms began to sound. The radar had picked up new ships entering Earth's atmosphere. These weren't the crystal ships of the Jinn. They were black, pointed vessels that absorbed light. Tay saw them on the monitor, and his whole body went stiff with anger. The Moro, he growled. They have followed us here. Dr. Han looked from the approaching ships to the changed hatchlings. The real fight was about to begin, and Earth was caught in the middle. Frozen alien dragons beg a human vet for help, then everything. The black ships of the Moro hung in the sky above the research center. They were smaller than the Jinn ships, but looked sharp and dangerous. Earth's military planes flew around them, keeping watch. What do they want? Dr. Han asked Tay as they looked at the screen showing the ships. They want to finish what they started, Tay said, his voice cold with anger. The Moro created the freezing plague to kill our children. Now they have come to make sure it worked. Min and the other young dragons huddled together, their changed bodies shining with mixed colors of fire and ice. They were scared, but also curious. I can hear them, Min said suddenly, making everyone look at him. Hear who? Dr. Han asked. The Moro. In my head. Min's eyes glowed gold and silver. They're talking about the plague. They're surprised we're not dead. Dr. Han was shocked. You can understand their language? Min nodded. I think it's because of how I've changed. I can hear them planning to land and check the hatchlings. They want to see why their weapon didn't work right. Kim, who had been quiet, spoke up. We should tell the military. They need to stop the Moro from landing. But before anyone could make a call, a voice came through all the speakers in the building. It was deep and rough, not human or Jinn. Attention, Earth people and Jinn fugitives. This is Commander Bach of the Moro Cleansing Fleet. We have come to collect samples of our property, the biological agent in the Jinn hatchlings. Surrender them to us, or we will take them by force. The research center became busy with activity. Soldiers took positions around the building. Scientists packed up important research. Government officials argued about what to do. Dr. Han stood with the Jinn, protecting the hatchlings. You can't give them the children, she told the military general who came to their area. The Moro created this plague as a weapon. If they get samples of how it's changed, they could make it even more dangerous. The general looked torn. We don't want a war with aliens, Dr. Han. Earth isn't ready for that. You already have a war, Tay said. The moment the Moro sent their plague here, with us they attacked your world too. Outside, the sky turned dark as the Moro ships moved lower. They used some kind of beam to push away the Earth planes that got too close. Dr. Han knew they didn't have much time. She gathered her team, the Jinn adults. and the 6 changed hatchlings. In the lab, "We need a plan," she said. "The Moro want the plague because it didn't work the way they expected. It changed the hatchlings instead of killing them. If they get samples, they'll make a worse version." "Can we fight them?" Kim asked. "The Jin ships are bigger." Sue shook her head. "We are scientists, not warriors. Our ships are for exploration and carrying young ones. The Moro are fighters." Min stepped forward. He had grown even more in the past day. Now he was the size of a horse, with wings that shimmered between blue and red. "I have an idea," he said, his voice stronger than before. "The plague changed us because of the human proteins. What if we change it more? Make it something the Moro can't control?" Dr. Han was interested. "What do you mean?" Min touched his chest with a claw. "The plague is still inside us, still changing, but now it's part of us. We can control it, maybe even use it." The idea was risky, but they had few options. Dr. Han took new blood samples from Min and the other hatchlings. She looked at them under her microscope. "The parasites have completely bonded with your cells now," she told Min. "They're not separate life forms anymore. They're part of your biology." "Can you make the changes stronger?" Min asked. "Make us even more different than the Moro expect?" Dr. Han thought about it. "Maybe. I could create a boost that would speed up the changes already happening in your bodies. But it's dangerous. I don't know what it might do to you." Min looked at the other 5 hatchlings. They all nodded at him. "We want to try," he said. "We're not just Jin anymore. We're not just victims of the plague. We're something new." While they worked on the new medicine, the first Moro ship landed outside the research center. Earth soldiers surrounded it, weapons ready. The door of the ship opened. The Moro were not what anyone expected. They weren't big like the Jin. They were small, about the size of human children, with red skin that looked like it was on fire from inside. They had no wings, but many arms, 6 or 8 each. Their eyes were black with tiny red dots in the middle 5. Moro walked out of their ship wearing special suits that steamed with heat. They didn't seem worried about the human soldiers. "We have come for the infected Jin young ones," the leader said through a translator device. "This is a scientific matter, not a war. Give us what we want, and we will leave your world in peace." Inside the lab, Dr. Han finished making the special boost for the hatchlings. It was a mix of human proteins, Jin healing cells, and a new compound she had created to speed up their changing. "This will push your bodies to complete the transformation that's already happening," she explained to Min. "Your cells and the parasite will finish becoming one new thing." Min didn't hesitate. He drank the medicine Dr. Han offered. The other 5 hatchlings did the same. For a moment, nothing happened. Then Min's body began to glow so bright that everyone had to cover their eyes. The other hatchlings glowed too, their bodies changing even faster than before. When the light faded, the hatchlings looked very different. They were nearly as big as their parents now, but their scales shifted between all colors. They had both the ice-making powers of the Jin and new fire abilities from the human proteins. Their wings were larger, their eyes more knowing. "How do you feel?" Dr. Han asked Min, worried about what she had done. Min smiled, showing teeth that glittered like diamonds. "Complete," he said. "We are Jin and human and even a little Moro now. We are something new." Outside, the Moro leader was getting angry. "Bring us the infected hatchlings now, or we will take them," he demanded. The general in charge looked at his soldiers. They were ready to fight, but everyone knew Earth weapons might not work against alien technology. That's when the lab doors opened. Min walked out first, followed by the other 5 changed dragons. They were beautiful and strange, their bodies shifting between states of fire and ice. The Moro leader stepped back in shock. "What have you done to our weapon?" he hissed. Min spoke directly to the Moro in their own language, surprising them even more. "Your weapon failed," he said. "It didn't destroy us. It made us stronger." The Moro pulled out weapons, guns that glowed with heat. "We will take you for study," the leader said, "or destroy you all." Min looked at his 5 brothers and sisters. They moved to form a circle around the Moro. As they did, something amazing happened. The air between them began to change, forming a shield of mixed fire and ice. "We are not your weapon," Min said. "We are not your test subjects. We are the children of 2 worlds, and we will protect both our homes." The Moro fired their weapons, but the strange shield absorbed the heat blasts. Min breathed out, sending a stream of blue fire that was somehow both burning hot and freezing cold at the same time. The Moro leader screamed as the blue fire touched him. His red skin turned purple, then black, as if frozen and burned at once. The other Moro backed toward their ship in fear. They had never seen anything like the changed hatchlings before. Dr. Han watched from the doorway, amazed and a little frightened by what Min and the others had become. Her simple attempt to save sick baby dragons had led to something no one could have predicted. The battle for Earth had begun. The battle at the research center lasted only 20 minutes, but it changed the world forever. The 6 transformed hatchlings used their new powers to drive the first group of Moro back to their ship. The small red aliens retreated quickly, surprised by the strength of the beings they had helped create. But the main Moro ship was still in the sky. It was much bigger than the landing craft and carried powerful weapons. As the Moro on the ground ran back to their small ship, the big ship in the sky began to glow red. "They're going to attack from above," Tay warned, looking up at the ship. "They will try to destroy all of us rather than let their weapon be used against them." Dr. Han ran to Min, who was resting after using his new powers. "Can you and the others stop a big attack from their main ship?" she asked. Min looked tired. "I don't know. Our powers are new. We haven't learned all we can do yet." The government officials and military leaders were in panic. Some wanted to shoot nuclear weapons at the Moro ship. Others wanted to surrender the hatchlings to save Earth. No one knew what to do. In the middle of this chaos, Dr. Han had an idea. She had been studying the changed blood of the hatchlings for days. Their cells now had a special quality. They could share their new abilities with others through close contact. "Min," she said urgently, "I think you can share your powers with your parents. The adult Jinn could help fight if they had your new abilities." Min's eyes widened. "How?" Dr. Han explained her theory. "Your blood has changed. It can change others too. If you and the other hatchlings each connect with an adult Jinn, you might be able to pass on your powers." Tay and Sue were willing to try. The other adult Jinn agreed too. Each hatchling stood face to face with an adult dragon. They pressed their foreheads together just as Min had done with Dr. Han days ago when he was sick. A strange glow passed between them, moving from the young ones to the adults. The adult Jinn's scales began to shimmer with new colors. Their silver eyes gained flecks of gold. "I can feel it," Sue said in wonder. "The fire, the new strength." Meanwhile, the Moro ship was getting ready to fire its main weapon. A ball of red energy was growing at the front of the ship, aimed at the research center. "We need to attack now," Tay said, flexing his wings that now flashed with fire colors. Before they finished charging their weapon, the 12 Jinn, 6 adults, and 6 young ones, flew up toward the Moro ship. They formed a circle in the sky, their bodies creating a ring of shifting fire and ice. Human soldiers and scientists watched from below, amazed by the sight. The Moro fired their weapon. A beam of red energy shot down toward Earth, but when it hit the circle of Jinn, something unexpected happened. The beam didn't go through. Instead, it was caught in the middle of their circle, held in a ball of swirling energy. Min's voice rang out, somehow heard by everyone below. "The weapon is part of us now, too. Everything the Moro made, we can control." The Jinn circle began to spin faster. The ball of energy in the middle changed from red to purple to blue. Then, with a great flash of light, they sent it back up to the Moro ship. The ship tried to move away, but it was too late. The blue energy ball hit it directly. Instead of exploding, the ship began to freeze and burn at the same time. Ice crystals formed all over it, while fire burned from inside. Within minutes, the mighty ship was falling from the sky, breaking into pieces that dissolved into harmless dust before they hit the ground. The smaller Moro ship tried to escape, flying up fast, but Tay and two other adult Jinn caught it in their claws. They didn't destroy it. Instead, they brought it back to Earth, landing it gently near the research center. When the small ship opened, the Moro inside surrendered. They had seen their great weapon turned against them. They had seen their main ship destroyed. They knew they had lost. Dr. Han approached the Moro leader cautiously, with Min beside her. "Why did you create the freezing plague?" she asked. "Why try to kill innocent children?" The Moro leader looked at her with his small black and red eyes. "The Jinn were becoming too powerful, spreading to too many worlds. We needed to stop them." "Before they took everything," Min stepped forward. "And now you've helped create something even stronger than before. Was it worth it?" The Moro had no answer. In the days that followed, many things changed. The world's leaders met to discuss what had happened. The Jinn stayed on Earth while plans were made. The captured Moro were kept in a special place, treated well but not allowed to leave. Dr. Han worked with scientists from around the world to study the amazing changes in the hatchlings and the adult Jinn. Their new biology was like nothing anyone had seen before, a perfect mix of 3 different species that created something greater than anyone alone. The plague was meant to destroy, Dr. Han told the world leaders at a big meeting, but instead it led to a new kind of life. The children of 2 worlds, as they call themselves, are neither Jinn, nor human, nor Moro. They're something new, something that might help us all. Min and the other young ones grew stronger each day. They learned to control their powers better. They could change the temperature around them, create useful new materials from ice and fire together, and even heal sick plants and animals with their touch. Most importantly, they could sense when the freezing plague tried to change or spread. They could stop it before it hurt anyone else. The weapon had become the cure. 1 month after the battle, the Jinn were ready to leave Earth. They needed to return to their homeworld to share what had happened. But they weren't leaving empty-handed. They had a plan. "We want Dr. Han to come with us," Min told the Earth leaders. "She saved us. She helped us become what we are. Now we want to help other worlds together." Dr. Han was surprised by the offer. "You want me to go to space with you?" Sue smiled, her scales shimmering. "You are already part of us, Dr. Han. When you gave your blood to save our children, you became family. It was a hard choice." Dr. Han loved her work on Earth, but the chance to see other worlds to help other species was something she couldn't refuse. "I'll go," she said finally. "But I want Kim and some other human doctors to come too, and we should bring the Moro with us." Everyone was shocked by this last part. "The Moro?" Tay asked. "Why?" "Because they need to see what their weapon has become," Dr. Han explained. "They need to learn that trying to destroy others only leads to pain. Maybe they can learn to help instead of hurt." The day the Jinn ships left Earth, thousands of people came to watch. The crystal ships glowed in the sunlight, more beautiful than before with new colors from the changed dragons inside them. Dr. Han stood at the door of the main ship, looking back at her home planet. Kim and 5 other human doctors were with her, ready for the journey to the stars. Even a few Moro were there under guard, but beginning to show interest in the new beings their plague had created. Min stood beside Dr. Han, now almost as tall as she was. "Are you ready?" he asked. Dr. Han smiled. "Ready for what?" Min's eyes twinkled gold and silver. "For everything to change again." As the ships rose into the sky, Dr. Han thought about how much had happened since the day the frozen dragons came to her for help. A simple act of kindness had led to a new future for 3 species. The plague meant to divide had brought them together instead. The weapon meant to destroy had created something wonderful and new, and somewhere in the stars, other worlds waited for healing. The end.